Bhagwan, good, was in the first ante-room alone, and outside the curtain of that room was a sentry, but I had a mind to see if I could pass in unseen, and I did, gliding behind them both. There I waited for many hours, when suddenly I perceived a dark figure coming secretly towards me. It was the figure of a woman, and in her hand she held a dagger. Behind that figure crept another unseen by the woman. It was Bhagwan following in her tracks. His shoes were off, and for so fat a man he followed very well. The woman passed me, and the starlight shone upon her face. "Who was it?" I asked impatiently. The face was the face of the Lady of the Night, and of a truth she is well named. I waited, and Bhagwan passed me also. Then I followed. So we went slowly and without a sound up the long chamber. First the woman, then Bhagwan, and then I. And the woman saw not Bhagwan, and Bhagwan saw not me. At last the Lady of the Night came to the curtains that shut off the sleeping place of the White Queen, and put out her left hand to part them. She passed through, and so did Bhagwan, and so did I. At the far end of the room is the bed of the Queen, and on it she lay very fast asleep. I could hear her breathe, and see one white arm lying on the coverlid like a streak of snow on the dry grass. The Lady of the Night doubled herself thus, and with the long knife lifted crept towards the bed. So straight did she gaze thereat that she never thought to look behind her. When she was quite close, Bhagwan touched her on the arm, and she caught her breath and turned, and I saw the knife flash and heard it strike. Well was it for Bhagwan that he had the skin of iron on him, or he had been pierced. Then for the first time he saw who the woman was, and without a word he fell back astonished and unable to speak. She too was astonished and spoke not, but suddenly she laid her finger on her lips, thus, and walked towards and through the curtain, and with her went Bhagwan. So close did she pass to me that her dress touched me, and I was nigh to slaying her as she went. In the first outer room she spoke to Bhagwan in a whisper, and clasping her hands thus, she pleaded with him, but what she said I know not. And so they passed on to the second outer room, she pleading, and he shaking his head, and saying, "Nay, nay, nay." And it seemed to me that he was about to call the guard, when she stopped talking, and looked at him with great eyes, and I saw that he was bewitched by her beauty. Then she stretched out her hand, and he kissed it, whereon I gathered myself together to advance and take her, seeing that now had Bhagwan become a woman, and no longer knew the good from the evil, when behold, she was gone. "Gone?" I ejaculated. "Aye, gone." And there stood Bhagwan staring at the wall like one asleep. And presently he went too, and I waited a while, and came away also. "Art thou sure, Umslopogaas," said I, "that thou hadst not been a dreamer this night?" In reply he opened his left hand, and produced about 3 inches of a blade of a dagger of the finest steel. "If I be, Macumazahn, behold what the dream left with me." The knife broke upon Bhagwan's bosom, and as I passed I picked this up in the sleeping place of